Hello, I'm Neil, and in this video I'm going to talk about building servers. This is the thing that you're going to run your thing on. You've got your infrastructure as code, and it's going to spring up some servers or some Docker containers. What's in that base image? This contains all the dependencies and stuff before your thing, your software, your microservice or whatever, is going to run on top of that. So let's get into it. So the thing that your thing is running in, let's put some words on these things. We've got the service. The service needs to run on an operating system, and the operating system is going to have some software and dependencies installed on it. This is called the base image. When you're building Docker containers, you might use it in the from statement at the top of your Docker file. Indeed, you're going to have more than one Docker file, and that's because this is split up into stages. Stage 1 of the image, whether it's on a server or in a Docker container, you can pick whatever operating system you feel like. It's a good idea to pick the one you're most familiar with. In Docker land, because we've got the operating system on the main host, it means that in the Docker container you can get away with the so-called distroless. That's fine too. Then that image needs to be customized in some way so that it can do the thing, the service, the microservice, and then we've got that never-ending cycle of making sure it's up to date. Patching, updating, keeping it current. This video is part of the Who Moved My Servers playlist, which is based on my book, which you can get from Amazon now. The process I'm describing is an immutable server build. It was around before Docker was thought of, but Docker uses it as well. You build a static image, you run your thing for however long you need your thing, and then you destroy it when you're finished. You don't actually run or update anything whilst the image is running. Everything's done up front, and then it gets destroyed when it's done its job. Mutable, not changing. In my channel, I'll link to it here, there's another video where I describe exactly in detail using Puppet to create an image. Quite a long video, but might be worth a look. I presented it in London in 2016. Gosh, ages ago. Might help you. Anyway, this is the summary of that. So, we follow this process. As I've outlined already, the base image, install packages, and configure. Then we've got to deploy it, and then we look after it and monitor it and check the logs, make sure it's healthy. The base image is straightforward enough. It's your operating system, plus any patches, updates to security-based packages, if you need Git or stuff like that, and any dependencies that are common across all of your server types. Another word for server types might be roles. To give you an example of a role, you could have a web server, or a logging server, or database server. But all of those servers will have a common set of stuff. Enhanced random number generation, and other common dependencies like the SSL libraries. Because we're building an image, we don't intend to edit the image whilst it's running. We need some sort of regular cadence in order to build the image, update those dependencies, security patches and stuff, which will then trigger the next stage of the image building, personality. And we want to do that, like I say, on a regular cadence. I recommend weekly. Of course, building the image is only part of it. We then need to get to deploy it. We've got our base image done. It's up to date. Now we're ready to install the packages or base dependencies like Ruby or Python. If you're building machine images, you've then got the choice of whether to bake these into the image or install them at runtime. When you deploy a server, you have the choice of picking up the image, and then it can run Puppet or some other configuration management like Ansible against it. You might choose to install these when the server gets spun up. That ensures that they're really fresh and aren't stale. If you're building the image once a week, I don't think either approach matters. Whichever one's easiest for you. And then it's time to install the role. The software like a web server or database server. The final step to this building of images, and this is stuff you usually don't bake, will be the personality. The individual settings for that server. If it's a web server, it will be what web servers does that host? The host name. It can include any settings that we don't give to it through the deployment step. Building servers or images is no different to any other software that we build within our team. We use automation to make sure it's updated on a regular cadence and deployments. We can build it, we can test it, we can deploy it, and we can monitor it. with both the logs and the dashboards. In the next video, I'll talk about that deployment and monitoring step. We'll go into a little bit more detail around the performance monitoring and how you might go about deploying the server in the first place. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a like, and if you click the bell icon, you'll get notified of when that next video is available. Till then, see you next time.